Big news from Old Trafford. One star could return just in time for the Wolves clash, but another fan favorite might never play in the Premier League again. Injuries, transfers, and the latest Pogba twist, let's break it all down. Ahmad, Heaven, De Ligt, Manchester United injury news and return dates ahead of Wolves fixture. Man United face Wolves in the Premier League today, and here's the latest on the injury front. Manchester United are back in Premier League action today after Thursday's stunning 5-4 victory over Lyon. United looked destined to be knocked out of the Europa League as they trailed 4-2 in extra time. Bruno Fernandes kicked off the comeback as he scored from the spot to make it 4-3 before Kobbie Mainoo and Harry Maguire sealed an incredible comeback victory for Ruben Amorim's side. Next up for United is a Wolves side who have won 4 games in a row to move themselves away from the Premier League drop zone. Amorim is expected to rotate his team with some of the club's youngsters handed a chance as the United boss prioritizes the Europa League. Ahead of the clash with Wolves, here is all the very latest on the United injury front. De Ligt appeared to turn his ankle in the closing stages of the first half of United's 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest earlier this month, and he has not featured since, despite playing on until the end at the City ground. He was absent from Wednesday morning's open training session at Carrington. Issuing an update on the Dutchman on Wednesday, Amorim said Mata is going to return still this season. After missing United's first 3 games after the March international break, Heaven was back in the squad against Newcastle United at the weekend, being named among the substitutes, offering encouragement that he had overcome the injury he sustained against Leicester City a month earlier. However, he missed Wednesday morning's training session as a result of suffering a small setback, according to club sources. Issuing an update on the former Arsenal man, Amorim said, Aiden is out for this game. He had a small issue in the same spot during training, a contact with a teammate. Martinez is a long-term absentee after rupturing his ACL in United's 2-0 defeat to Crystal Palace at the start of February. He soon underwent successful surgery and is continuing with his recovery. United have not put a specific time frame on how long he will be out for, but he will not play again this season. ACL injuries usually take around 6 months to fully recover from. Evans was spotted in training at Carrington on Wednesday morning for the first time since suffering a muscle injury back in December. He last featured for the Reds on December 19th, coming off the bench to score in their 4-3 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur in the Carabao Cup. Collier has missed all of United's last 4 matches with a leg injury, though it is not thought to be serious. Toby has a small issue in his leg, said Amorim, speaking last week. Paul Pogba told to be realistic about football return with Premier League move difficult due to Man United past. Premier League legend David James warned Paul Pogba that a move back to England could be difficult for him. What happened? Former Manchester United midfielder Pogba saw his 18-month doping ban end in March, and the midfielder is now raring to get back on the football field. The Frenchman has not featured in a professional match since September 2023, which means he nearly missed 2 full seasons. Amid speculation over his future, former England goalkeeper David James has issued a warning to the 32-year-old. What David James said. Speaking to Prime Casino, James said, "First things first, he was found guilty and he served his time, even if that's been reduced. He's paid his penance and therefore he should have a clean slate. However, with the attraction from the whole world with regard to the Premier League, I don't think the Premier League is the place where he's going to end up. I think English football would be difficult for him because he is synonymous with Manchester United in England, and to go to a championship club, I think, would be very difficult for him." James added, "I see a future for him possibly in Europe." Which leagues? I'm not sure. The French league would be the natural fit. If he were to do well in the French league, I'm not suggesting PSG for 1 minute. That could be the pathway back to a position with a larger club. Again, because the Premier League is such a big league, or the biggest league, there would be a lot of people in the Premier League who would say, let's see how he gets somewhere else. Age is against him in so many ways as well. I mean, I can't speak from any experience with regards to the circumstances he finds himself in or why he finds them. But yeah, the world is changing. The football world is changing. I wouldn't say the playing style is necessarily changing, but the quality of player is changing for sure. We're seeing a cluster of youngsters coming through, which is exciting, different levels of skill, and therefore the Paul Pogba of old would struggle or be at least comparable with the youngsters coming through. So, as you say, with age against him, there's a part where you've got to be realistic about what your opportunities are. What next for Paul Pogba? For now, Pogba remains a free agent and is training on his own to keep himself fit for the upcoming season. Rumors of a move to MLS or even a return to United have been floated, but the 32-year-old has so far kept his cards close to his chest. Amad de Ligt, Heaven, Manchester United injury news and return dates as player could return versus Wolves today. Man United injury news latest and expected return dates ahead of the Premier League fixture against Wolves on Sunday afternoon. Manchester United could welcome back an injured player when they face Wolves in the Premier League on Sunday afternoon. Ruben Amorim is set to rotate his squad following their Europa League epic against Lyon, and his options could be boosted by the availability of an extra senior player. The United head coach has already hinted Diogo Dalot could be rested for the match, while Bruno Fernandes could also be protected ahead of more important matches in the coming weeks. Rasmus Højlund is expected to lead the line at Old Trafford today, though teenage striker Chido Obi could be handed a chance from the bench. Amorim also has a task on his hands to freshen up the rest of the team, with Mason Mount and Kobbie Mainoo both hopeful of starts after they made a positive impact against Lyon. Here is all the latest United injury news and potential return dates before they face Wolves today. Manchester United latest injury news. Evans returned to United training earlier in the week but was not involved against Lyon. There is hope he could be back on the bench when they face Wolves today. De Ligt is still a few weeks away from a return to action and is not expected to be involved against Wolves. He could be back before the month's end and definitely before the season's end. Heaven suffered a small setback in training earlier this week and could face a few weeks on the sidelines. He is expected to be back before the end of the season. Ruben Amorim does not expect Amad to be available for selection this month, but he should be back before the end of the campaign. He took part in an individual training session on Wednesday as he gears up for a return to action. Xerxes has been ruled out for the remainder of the season due to the hamstring injury he picked up against Newcastle last weekend. It is not clear whether he will be available for the post-season tour of Asia. Collier has missed the last few matches with an unspecified injury and did not train with the rest of the team on Wednesday. It is not clear when he will be available for selection again. Martinez has undergone successful surgery on an ACL injury and there is no real time frame on his return to action. He is expected to be ruled out for a minimum of 6 months. Man United transfer news, rumors and gossip, live updates and latest on deals, signings, loans and contracts. Amorim, it's not the best moment but we will play kids if we need to. Man United head coach Ruben Amorim speaking ahead of playing Wolves on Sunday. It's not the best moment or the best season to put some kids to play because they need a strong base to really show what they can do. But at this moment we need to do it. Sometimes you have some surprises. Aiden Heaven just played because we had a lot of injuries in that moment, but today he is my player. Chido Obi Martin, when he played quite well. It's not the right moment for the kids to play, but if we have to do it, we will do it. Man United believed to be frontrunners for Semenyo. Latest from Sky Sports News. Lyle Thomas. Manchester United are believed to be the current frontrunners in the race to sign Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo this summer. United head coach Ruben Amorim is thought to be a big admirer of Semenyo and has ideas about how to deploy him in a new-look attack next season. However, Man United are expected to face competition from a number of other Premier League clubs, including Liverpool. In fact, every top 6 club apart from Arsenal is thought to have shown some interest in the 25-year-old. Outside of the top 6 and United, Tottenham are also believed to be keen on Semenyo ahead of a summer window that is expected to see a significant turnaround in players across the Premier League. Bournemouth will not give up Semenyo lightly and are understood to value him as high as £70 million. Amorim, Onana played well, let's move forward. Man United head coach Ruben Amorim. I think he did really well, did a good game. He has to continue to do good games. I'm really happy for him because it was a tough moment, but let's move forward. Now he has to push forward and be ready for the next games. Lindelof available for the weekend. Man United head coach Ruben Amorim. He is available. He had personal issues like news, so we had to let him go at halftime. Everything is okay now. I know football is really important, but other things are more important. He will be ready to face the next game. The verdict, making sense of Man Utd's unbelievable comeback. Adam Bate and Ben Ransom react to Manchester United's thrilling 5-4 win against Lyon in the Europa League at Old Trafford. Amorim, here it is never over. Man United boss Ruben Amorim speaking to TNT Sports. I was watching the 1999 Champions League final commentary for inspiration. It was a great night. The team were tired. At 4-2, you think it is over, but here it is never over. Here everything is possible.